Right, so just a pre-recorded wave 29 and wave 30 simulacrum because I don't want to do it on the live recording because it takes too long. But yeah, this is my take on Poison Explode Totems, the Pathfinder variant. I saw a lot of people do their own style, and that's really refreshing because it's like sort of a new archetype. It hasn't been fully solved. So my take is build as much defense and speed as possible because you get so much damage from the innate Crucible mod that you don't really need any more damage. You have one Elegant Hubris to pump out more damage, but that's one of the few sources, and I feel it's much more worth it to get more speed, more clear, and more defense. So how we're doing that is through stacking more max elemental resistances. I'm currently at 89%. You could feasibly hit 90% if you wanted. So I'll go through my gear in just a moment after this pre-recorded video ends of wave 30. And you can see that the clear actually isn't too bad. On wave 28, I hit 6 rewards, 29 almost hit 6, and this wave 30 I'll hit 6 as well. So damage isn't really an issue, and clear is not too bad as well. And how we're getting more defense also is via the Supreme Decadence. So we are using the Enduring Life Flask for Pathfinder, and we are juicing our Life Flask up with Herbalism, the Life Nodes next to Mage Bane, and a Blood Notch. I'll show all this gear after the video ends. Alright, so that's it. Alright, so now that we are in game, I can actually show you how I'm doing things. We're using a +5 shield. We're getting +9 with the Crucible mod. +1 from my amulet and +2 from my boots for a total of 89%. How we are scaling damage as well is through this node here. Totem explode for 300% of their life. And then we have Mind Over Matter, buff up to Eldritch Battery, and we use Burden of Truth because you could use a replica sort of the Divine, but I didn't want to take up a flask slot because these flasks are pretty much best in slot for the build. And this is the Elegant Hubris I was referring to. For this number, we're getting 20% flask effect duration for Perma Flask, 80% fist damage, 80% minion damage, which is global damage because we are taking Spiritual Aid, 10% damage per Frenzy Charge, and we are taking the 12% RMR on the Mana Mastery. 80% here, and 80% here if you want to grab that as well. So in total, this Cluster Jewel gives 20% flask effect duration, about 430 to 450 damage based on your fancy charges as well, and 12% spell suppress if you need spell suppression. Because we're self-chilling ourselves, we are getting ailment immunity as well for non-damaging ailments. We have this evasion mastery for capping our spell suppress. I think we should be at about 100%. Suppress spell damage 100%. Even if you're using life, it's still 100%. So we are fully capped. For cluster jewels, we are gonna use spike concoction for flask effect, increase flask effect, and increase flask charges gained, improve for potency, more damage, more flask effect, flask charge gain, and life recovery. For the totem one, I'm using sleepless sentries to get onslaught, and ancestral might for more totem life. And for a small cluster, we're using enduring composure, so we are always capped on endurance charges because on a 4-second trigger weapon, we have a forbidden right to proc our Call of the Void, and as it hits us, we are also getting endurance charges. On the trigger, I also have Despair and Curse Ground for more quality of life. Alright, so now I'll just show you all the Uber bosses. gonna run through everything because I planned out all the Uber bosses and all the invitations as well. So it's gonna be a pretty long video. I'll leave timestamps to each invitation so you can just see which boss you're interested in. And I'll have a 100% map right at the end to showcase some of the clear potential. So it's pretty straightforward. We just shield charge everywhere. Self chill is actually pretty fast, even though we have no attack speed anywhere besides haste. So on our helmet, we want to get a suppressed one since it's much cheaper to roll it this way. +2 socket for our purity of fire threshold to hit level 23, and as much fist gain as elemental for this mitigation. So pretty much we can tank almost everything in the game. Makes bossing actually pretty enjoyable. It just trivializes everything, to be honest. Right, first boss down. Next up, Uber Cortex. We have the note here. Hopefully he doesn't give us pretty bad mods. What do we have? Steel charges. And no, it's not too bad. Always ignite. So this is actually a pretty easy Uber boss encounter. I mean Uber Cortex. Not a lot of bad mod. Ideally, I should be running my Watcher's Eye, which has phasing to make all this much easier. The damage is pretty ridiculous, even on Uber settings. Now third phase is the add phase. So I got on the hype train pretty early, around like I bought my gear 2 days after the first showcase happened, so some stuff I have will be pretty expensive, like the +4 lightning coil and perfect slave drivers. Also the ancestral bond impossible escape would be pretty expensive, I would assume. But I think if you have a higher budget, like going self-kill, and stacking defense is probably a better choice. Alright, last phase. So yeah, pretty stupid. The amount of defense and offense we get, since like we are way past dot cap. Oh, didn't get anything good. But max power charge, actually, that's pretty good. Alright, let's keep that. And this sucks. So we'll be doing the fear now. 92%, yeah, 50% less damage because it has a avoid poison bot, but yeah. What do we go for first? Elder, alright. Yeah, we can just tank Shaper Beams, that's fine. Go for Chayula next. And that's it. I really should have cleaned up my inventory, but I wanted to have everything in the in my inventory, so pardon me just dumping everything. Yep. I think that's it. Alright, that's it. Let me go back and grab some more of the loot. I don't need this. Need this. That's one. Yep. Just double check one more time. Like, Neversing has given me problems with the loot filter. So I actually killed an Uber Maven like a couple days ago and didn't get a unique drop. So luckily I checked and Apogenesis actually dropped. Alright, since we don't have any more things, okay, let's do Uber Shaper. So I have all the Uber bosses spec. So this build is actually a pretty nice Uber Shaper build as well, since it moves pretty fast and it phases Shaper pretty fast as well. When you're mapping, you want to switch from my current setup to one that includes Plague Bearer and Herald of Ash. So because we do so much base damage, our average hit is actually really high. We get lots of value from Herald of Ash. In the Simulacrum video, actually Herald of Ash was doing more work than Plague Bearer. Plague Bearer actually doesn't do too much in 100% or Simulacrum maps. So I think this is Maven Witness Uber Shaper. might be a little bit tough. But we'll see. Yep. Didn't have force shield up. Actually, I should have been using Lunaris instead. That's kind of my bad. Ranking for mapping and Lunaris for single target bossing. Oh, I mean bossing in general. Because of Forbidden Rite, we'll always be proccing 6% elemental, less elemental damage taken. Yeah, you basically just tank everything if you have force shield up. To be fair, like, we probably could have, yeah, we definitely could have survived that if we didn't have Immortal Call on cast and damage taken. I think you don't really need Immortal Call on cast and damage taken anyway, because you have so much max hit that you don't really die to one-shots that often. So you do have time to react and proc your Immortal Call. That's what I should actually do instead. But granted, I'm not used to playing with self-cast Immortal Call. Probably hardcore players would be more comfortable with this. Yeah, so with Immortal Call you basically don't take any damage, right? Next up we have the Formed. Pretty chill. Right. Next we have all the Slayers. Let's just do all the invitations first. Get them out of the way. Hesman. Rocks. Alright, next up we have the Twisted for this. The Elder Guardians. Oh no, I didn't face him fast enough. That's annoying. Maybe we'll keep that. Next up, Forgotten. That's pretty bad. Next up, we have the Hidden for beach slots. Alright, next up we have Sirus. Let me just stash some stuff real quick. Alright. Yeah, the only thing you really need for Sirus is like character blood immunity. That is about it. How are we getting you can get character blood immunity from here as well if you wanted to. There are different choices. Yeah, pardon the that it takes a while. Sirus is not exactly a very quick intro. For all these fights, I will try to tank everything. So it may take a little bit longer and not just like straight away insta-face and stuff instead. So this build actually, one of the weaker parts of it is not having very great chaos mitigation. It's not like Divine Flesh, we are getting like 80 to 85% chaos rest. So while we are chaos rest capped, we don't really have any other mechanics past that, but there's not enough chaos damage in the game to really warrant much more than that. But even doing the Simulacrum with Fizz added as chaos, like it was still doable. It wasn't too bad, just face tank everything. There, just tank everything. Alright, that should be second phase. We're hitting the last phase now. Yep, so this is the last phase. You can tell via his text. He says, "My heart races, I am alive." That's indication of reaching his last phase. Alright, so now just tank everything. Yeah, so it's pretty unfair. Like, I'm only dying to the Chaos Ground Degen, which is the weakest part of build. But besides that, like, if you're actually playing it like a proper human being, then yeah, it's extremely hard to die on this fight. Alright, hands of the High Templar. So next up we'll be doing let's bring Uber Maven and Uber Eater of Walls, followed by Exarch, and we'll leave Uber Elder for the last one. I think that's the one that most people think is the hardest, right? So fun fact about Maven fights, if you actually do it fast enough, you don't get the ground degens that you have to worry about. So just phaser or hit. So your arena will be much cleaner. Right, top. Left. So another thing you can do is actually just run out to the circle and the balls will be left on the side plane. So you also don't mess up your arena that way as well. Up, right, up, left, up, left. Up, left, up, left, right, up, left, up, right, up. Alright, we're moving down. Can Arrow Nova support. Is this new? I've never seen this before. Alright, it's worthless. All good. Yeah, so next Eater of Worlds. And Exarch, and then Uber Eater. So that is one thing that we cannot tank. Probably if you take out haste, you could with grace, because that you need a lot of evasion to tank that. But if you're not looking to tank that, then it's actually not too bad. So yeah, we can tank Hungers as well. Alright, next is Uber Exarch. Okay. We'll change our life pot to, our Quicksilver to a Ruby Flask and get Ignite immunity. Because you don't really need a Quicksilver in this fight. So you can mostly just tank all the balls, doesn't really matter too much. Tank annihilations as well. So for this boss fight, the Uber version at least, he spawns a Minotaur, that's quite annoying. But yeah, if you have damage to kill it, just kill it quickly. Right, got a Dawnbreaker. Next is Uber Shaper, or Uber Elder, sorry. I'm not really well versed in this fight, so I might be trolling a little bit. Pardon that if you see any of that. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not very well versed in the fight, so I'm not sure who to damage. Oh yeah, this Maven witnessed as well, so it's a little bit harder. I don't think it's the hardest combination, it's just Peg Tethers and a Vitality build. I think if you get a clone, it's actually even worse. But yeah. Arena's getting pretty messy. Not good. I'm actually pretty weak to this dot. This dot is annoying. Okay. Alright. Maven Witness will go well there. And so now the last thing is the 100% Mino. For that, I'll change up my... Oh, you got a Sublime. Nice. I guess it rewards you to do a Maven Witness turn, right? Alright, so now we have this, and we would want... We already have phasing. Okay, so now we take out Withering Step, and we put in Petrified Blood, or Herald of Ash. Just change the colors for this, because this is the setup I usually use for mapping. Forbidden Rite, Withering Step, and Despair. Because Ground is normally just for bossing, so your cursor is affected immediately when it spawns. Yeah, right. 100% map. Of course, we'll take out the Ruby Flask. And have cast and damage taken. Okay. I don't really have a weapon to Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I got knocked back, so I couldn't show you 100% visible. That was not my intention. It's not the fastest 100% clearer, but it's not too shabby, I would say. So here closest. And Omniphobia. But yeah, 100% match is pretty easy if you can do wave 30 Simulacrums. Alright, that's it for the showcase. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I feel that since you already have so much innate damage that you're hitting dot caps already, might as well just invest more in defenses, right? Get a good lightning coil, get as much fizz as Ellie taken. Max res. And yeah, while this build is pretty expensive, pretty much one of the most powerful builds I've played in a long while. So yeah, glad you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time.